The Spirit of my Lord Yahweh is on me, because Yahweh anoints me to bear tidings to the humble. He sends me to bind up the broken of heart, to herald to captives liberty, and to the sightless unclosed eyes, and to the bound emancipation, to herald an acceptable year for Yahweh, and a day of vengeance for our Elohim. When Jesus declared these passages in the synagogue, he read an acceptable year for Yahweh and then stopped, leaving the day of vengeance out. He then stated, "Today this scripture is fulfilled in your ears." So, I believe it's safe to say that Christ fulfilled the acceptable year for Yahweh when he came to the Jews almost 2,000 years ago. Following this is the day of vengeance, the seventh component listed in Isaiah 61. 7 is the number of spiritual completeness, defining fullness and manifestation. In the opening of the 6th seal in Revelation, we're told, "The great day of their wrath is come, and who can stand?" However, it is not until the opening of the 7th seal that this day is ushered in. This delay, if you will, is due to the sealing of the servants of God in Revelation 7, verses 1 through 8. This corresponds with the souls under the altar who had been slain and are told to rest a little longer until the number of their fellow servants and their brothers should be complete, who were to be killed as they themselves had been. Our keyword number in Revelation 6:11 correlates with the 144,000 in Revelation 7:4, where John states, "And I heard the number." As we have learned, this number is symbolic, broken down as 12 times 12 times 1,000, or the witness of divine government in the day of vengeance. The day of vengeance is the 7th thing in Isaiah 61. So when the 7th seal is opened, an angel at the altar of incense fills the censer with fire from the altar and throws it on the earth, resulting in voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. I believe the voices, thunder, lightning, and earthquake denote the great day of their wrath, synonymous with the day of vengeance. For more on this, see Part 12 in my series, Great Tribulation. The manifestation of the voices, thunder, lightning, and earthquake is seen in the sounding of the trumpets. The day of vengeance results from the cries and prayers of the souls under the altar in the 5th seal. I believe this day began shortly after the death of the apostles in the late 1st century. It was then that the church began to fall away from their teachings. This falling away is prophesied and described in the 7 prophecies to the 7 churches. In Revelation 6:10, the word avenge is defined by Strong's as to vindicate, retaliate, punish. Oxford Languages defines vindicate as show or prove to be right, reasonable, or justified. So who is the Lord vindicating? Is it not the souls under the altar in the 5th seal? It is. Aren't these souls under the altar the same as the 144,000? They are. And what follows the presentation of the 144,000? It's the great multitude that no one could number from every nation. In other words, the Gentiles. And what does the angel tell John about who they are? These are the ones coming out of the Great Tribulation. Does Great Tribulation mark the day of vengeance? I believe so. This tells us that Great Tribulation is not something yet to come, but has been unfolding since shortly after the days of Christ and the apostles. Jesus likened tribulation to birth pains, thereby indicating that lawlessness would intensify as time progressed. What we see today is proof of this increasing lawlessness and pressure. The day of vengeance corresponds to the 7 prophecies to the 7 churches, for we are told that the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. As the prophecies unfold, they give witness of Christ and His words. So the witness of Christ has and continues to be demonstrated by the unfolding and manifestation of the 7 prophecies, which are synonymous with the day of vengeance, or great day of their wrath. As previously stated, this fulfillment began in the 1st century and continues up to this present time. Here's a list summarizing the understanding of the day of vengeance as seen in the voices, lightning, thunder, and earthquake. Now, let's go to John, chapter 12, in the Concordant Literal New Testament, for a very interesting discourse by the Lord. Now Jesus cries and said, "He who is believing in me is not believing in me, but in him who sends me. And he who is beholding me is beholding him who sends me. I have come into the world a light, that everyone who is believing in me should not be remaining in darkness. And if ever anyone should be hearing my declarations and not be maintaining them, I am not judging him. For I came not that I should be judging the world, but that I should be saving the world. He who is repudiating me and not getting my declarations has that which is judging him, the word which I speak, that will be judging him in the last day, seeing that I speak not from myself, but the Father who sends me, he has given me the precept, what I may be saying, and what I should be speaking. And I am aware that his precept is life aeonian. If I get what Jesus is saying, he does not render judgment. Instead, what he has spoken does. In other words, truth. And truth? It needs no defense, but stands firmly on its own, judging us daily whether we realize it, acknowledge it, or resist it. It's an immutable part of the divine and universal principle of sowing and reaping. And the last day? Let me leave you with this thought. What was future for Christ and the apostles does not necessarily mean that it's future for us.